The City of Casey proudly acknowledges the traditional owners, Casey's Aboriginal communities, and their rich culture, and pays respect to their elders past, present and future. We acknowledge Aboriginal people as Australia's first people and as the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we work and live. This podcast has been recorded on Bunurong land.
The views, opinions and information shared during the KCU Services podcast series belong solely to the individuals involved. Any recommendations or advice given during the podcast are general in nature and does not replace the need to seek professional advice where necessary. If you are in need of urgent assistance, please call 000 or the Kids Helpline on 1800 551 800.
Hello everyone and welcome to Season 6, Episode 2 of the KCU Services podcast. I'm Stephen.
And I'm Chanel. We are some of the friendly youth workers you will find at our youth information centres here at the City of Casey.
Today we've left the studio at Narre Warren Youth Information Centre and we've headed out to Casey Fields. We are excited to have a couple of footballers from the Melbourne Storm Football Club. Welcome Harry Grant and Xavier Coates.
Thanks for having us.
G'day boys, how you going?
Good.
Get some crackers going, balloons going off.
Yeah, no, it's a good day out here too. A lot of people, it's great. So yeah, we're going to start off with an icebreaker question, I think.
Yeah, so boys, what is your favourite way to eat potato?
Mashed potato.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
mashed potato. I would have to say a potato bake.
That's pretty good.
Both great
some
answers.
grouse,
yeah.
I liked scallop potatoes. Now, some people are going to say scallop potatoes are like potato cakes. For me, they're like baked in the oven, but you're putting cheese and cream and it's so good. You guys are probably not allowed to eat that stuff, but for me, it's the best.
They probably still do.
We
You can have it. They probably
I don't
still
think-
do. Yeah.
I don't think I
gravy
love
on
that.
top, you going sauce.
And
Definitely.
Chanel, what about you?
Yeah, same as Xavier. Mine's mashed potato.
I don't think
sir.
there's a wrong answer here, is there?
Yeah.
Parents and guardians are always a great source of support. Do you guys have any other mentors that help guide you to where you're at? And, you know, what are some of the things that they did to help you become the person you are today?
I'm pretty lucky in a way with my family support network, and mum and dad are, good role models for myself personally. And then I've also got my pop, like my dad's dad, who I really look up to a lot in terms of the way he goes about his business and, the type of person he is. He's a school teacher at Port Macquarie, or was, and he's taught pretty well everyone in the town, and not too many people have a bad word to say about him. So he's a good role model, but I think along the way I've had many good coaches, no matter what sport I was playing. There's plenty of coaches that have taught me, whether it's one lesson, I think you just got to be able to be a sponge and be pretty open-minded and take that all in. Sort of had a coach my under 20s team, and then went into my Queensland Cup, Eric Smith. He was kind of a development coach and he's with the Redcliffe Dolphins now at the moment, but he was a really good mentor for me early days and instilled a lot of confidence in me to just keep backing myself, keep doing what I'm doing, because it's like he appreciated it. So it really made me feel comfortable in what I was doing and believed in what I was doing. And then obviously I probably don't think I've changed too much in that regard.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar to Haz. I had a lot of good mentors growing up, and I reckon my dad was a pretty big mentor. But looking away from sort of family, a fella by the name of Matt Geyer, he used to play for the Storm actually back in the day. He was my school teacher, my junior football coach. So he had a pretty big impact in my life. And I think the main thing that he sort of taught me was just have fun and bring it back to the basics, because I feel like when you're growing up, you can get so caught up in, making rep teams and thinking that's a be end all. And that's sort of what I got stuck sort of in. And I found myself not playing very good footy and just not enjoying it. And he sort of just told me to bring it back to the basics, just have fun. And felt like that's when my good footy sort of started to happen, and when I started enjoying stuff off the field as well. So, he was a pretty big mentor in my life, and he still is to this day.
That's fantastic.
Nice.
And I think good mentors, they leave their footprint on you, and those lessons, you carry them with you with whatever you're doing in life too. So
True, just not only in sport as well. You kind of take those lessons into life, eh?
Yeah, it's all transferable wherever you go, whatever you do, and you got to be open-minded to see that within people and take that advice on board, because it's not just sport, it's work as well. It's school. Like you can find those mentors anywhere.
Yeah, and sometimes people will look to you as a mentor and you don't realise at that time. So it's important to sort of be supportive of everyone you can when you can. So good answers.
Thank you. Can you fellas think of a time that you questioned yourself or ability? And if so, how did you manage to overcome potential adversity?
Ooh. Are we talking like in footy terms?
Well, you can kind of answer it how you want. Like you can take it in footy terms, but you can also, in life or...
Yeah, I reckon I touched on it a little bit, and it's probably more so about what I spoke about with having fun with what you do and bringing it back to the basics. I remember when I was growing up, like I spoke about, I wanted to make all these rep teams and playing all these things because I thought that's what you had to do to make the NRL, and that's when I had the really good mentor in Matt Guy who helped me out, and he just sort of spoke to me and just said, I need to bring it back and just make sure I enjoy my footy and enjoy playing with your mates because that's what it's all about. That's why you started playing footy in the first place, is to have fun with it. So, it got to a point when I was about 15 years of age and I wasn't making rep teams and I was going to quit playing footy and take up athletics because I was really heavily into that. And he sort of spoke to me and said, what do you think about just having 1 year of footy at your junior footy club, the Crumman Eagles back on the Gold Coast, and just playing with your mates from school and playing with mates away from school and just make sure you have fun with it. And he said, what do you think about that? And I said, I'm a bit touch and go because I sort of want to make it in something, whether that's NRL or whether that's going down the athletics path. And I was sort of heading towards the athletics path. And he said, just try 1 more year, trust me, just have 1 more year of fun. And then after that, you can quit and do whatever you want to do. And ended up having 1 more year and ended up getting picked up by an NRL club. And then my NRL career took off from there. So pretty cool way to sort of think of it is just like having fun with what you do. And I wasn't even thinking about, making the NRL. I just wanted to enjoy my time playing rugby league and just playing sport in general. And then, things sort of took off from there. But, pretty crazy to look back on and like think that I'm in the position I am today just because of that moment of just bringing it back to the basics and having fun with what I did.
Yeah, nice.
That's good advice for young people.
Yeah. Sex. I was probably, when I was 13, 14, going in onto 15-year-old, like I had a few injuries. I had a couple of bad injuries, sort of 12-month injuries out of sport, out of contact sport really. So I had a staph infection in my shoulder when I was 12, turning 13, and then I come back and then I broke my leg, had another 12 months out, like it was pretty bad. So I kind of, similar to Xavier, I was probably at the point where I was 13, 14, 15 thinking that's when you play NRL, like that's when everything happens for you, like that's when you get your contract, all the things that you dream of, like that's when they're supposed to happen, and it was very far from that. So yeah, I kind of found some different interests outside of rugby league, and that probably helped me really through it. And the way I sort of look at it now is anytime there's something bad happens, or like, whether it's negative or something much more positive is coming down the track, like that's going to outweigh the negative. And that's sort of the way I look at things and have looked at things from that moment, because I know the positives to come out of those couple of setbacks or whatever are so much greater than the time that I had sitting on the sidelines. So yeah, that's probably sort of just the way that I look at it. Like anytime something negative happens or there's a setback or whatever, I just know that it's kind of there for a reason, and you can sort of flip the narrative on it and know that you work hard, there's going to be something much positive down the track for you. I've sort of had that since I was 13, and I haven't really felt that it hasn't worked for me, so I'm going to keep believing in that.
That's awesome. Great grounding technique there and resetting and refocus. It's always what's coming. What can I do to...
And you got to help yourself. Like you can't sort of sit there and lick your wounds and feel sorry for yourself, but you got to know if you do the work and you turn it into something, that it's going to be much greater.
Yeah, like that's good of like having mentors and, listening and like kind of taking advice. But like you said, you got to take on the advice and work on it, eh?
Yeah.
It's all good to have all these mentors give you all this advice. But if you don't kind of put that into action, it doesn't really work, does it?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Oh, nice.
Yep. No, there's power in reflection and positive thinking and mindset. It's really cool. So we're going to go a little lighter with this one. Do you guys have any pre-game routines that you must follow? Like do you wear the same socks or do you eat the same breakfast before a game?
Xavier, so he doesn't watch, so if he plays a good game, he he won't wash his jocks that he's played in. So he'll just keep wearing so he's played 20 good games in a row. Like he's worn the same jocks every time and he hasn't washed them.
Harry will use them after.
And then I go, I need to play good, I'll chuck them on. No, that's a joke. That's a joke.
Yeah, here I am thinking, it's some breakfast cereal or something, but I love that. That is cool.
No, I don't know. Pre-game, I usually go pizza pasta, which would it would be at a local restaurant, Fratellino's in Richmond. So I'll do that, and then day of the game, breakfast. Usually head out with the boys. But if it's an away trip, we all have brekkie together in the team room or wherever the breakfast is. But yeah, usually all catch up for a coffee, a feed, and then do a bit of a walk. And then I'll shut it down for the rest of the day, sleep, and then get ready for the game. I don't really have a certain pair of socks I have to wear or a pair of shoes, but I'm pretty simple in the fact that I just like coming together with the team and sort of just hanging out the day of the game, and then have my own time in the afternoon, sleep, and then get into it.
Yeah, I feel like for me, when I was younger, I probably had some superstitions, and I quickly found out that, you got to try and get away from those because, your preparation is most important. Like whatever sock you put on first is not going to make you play any better or make you play any worse because you've done all your work during the week.
Yeah.
So when I was probably 16, 17, 18, 19, I probably had a little bit of that within myself and within my preparation, but really opened my eyes when I come down to Melbourne Storm, and, it's all about routine. So now I'm super away from all that. I think that was probably a thing where my family my mum was a little bit that way, my nan was a little bit that way. Yeah, you're around that environment, so you take on those sort of habits or those sort of things. But yeah, for me now it's just about routine. Like you have your routine, and you try and stick to that as much as you can, and you got to be flexible within it too, because some things aren't going to go, or some things are going to go wrong, and you got to be able to just move on from it and take confidence knowing that you've done all your preparation through the week. And game day, it's just, that's the fun part. It's you don't forget how to play footy. You get to the game, and obviously you're going to keep all your little routines intact, but if something doesn't go right, it's not the end of the world. It's once the whistle goes, it's second nature to just play your footy, play your game.
Yeah, so it's more about your game day routines in terms of how you would play, how you focus, how you prepare, instead of, you have to have something set.
Yeah. It's more so like a bit of a guideline to be able to tick your boxes along the way. It's like, so for me, like for example, like through the week after training, I'll have to do 10 passes each side, and that's a minimum. And then it's like anything on top of that is good. But like if I don't do that after training, but then if I don't do that before a game, like that's part of my routine. So I need to do that. Some guys have cold showers, some guys have ice baths. Like that's all part of their little routine on game day.
Yeah, and recovery as well. So
Yep.
yeah, well, that's great.
Nice. If you boys weren't playing sport, what would you see yourself doing?
I did a couple of years as an electrical apprenticeship, doing my electrical apprenticeship, when I was first out of school. So I did 2 years in under 20s and then come down here and try to continue doing it. When I turned full-time rugby league, and it was just too hard to stay on top of it. I would love to be able to keep doing it, and hopefully down the track there might be a TAFE for athletes or something where there's a lot of flexibility around the TAFE and what days you can sort of turn up to work. But for me, we were training full-time, so I couldn't really fit the practical and theory in. But that was probably something that I really enjoyed. Probably do that, and if I had my time over again, I'd probably do it as a school-based apprenticeship. So I was doing school and work, and you're getting a bit of both there. So that's probably what I'd be doing.
So Harry the Sparky, right?
Yeah,
Got it.
half a Sparky.
Yeah,
Probably
love it.
these days now, just a smidge.
Sounds good.
Haven't retained any of it.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not too sure what I'd be doing, but I started doing a little bit of uni, just like one subject each semester, so doing teaching. So hopefully by the time I finish footy, I'll still need to be going to uni because I'm only doing one subject each semester, so it's going to take a bit of time. But hopefully by the time I'm done and in a couple of years after that, I'll be a qualified teacher and be able to go into that sort of workforce. But yeah, I'm still unsure. I'm just sort of doing that just to see how it sort of feels and if I like it or not. But at least it's a bit of a path, and you can sort of go down that, and it creates a bit of avenues for you to sort of go down, whether you want to do teaching or maybe even like coaching or something like that. I think, that'll be pretty cool, but at least I'm trying to do something, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, teaching sounds good. Have you got a subject that you'd like to teach? Is there something particular?
What do you want to
Harry
say?
wants the answer.
Nah, I'd love to do HPE, and then I reckon you have to do 2 subjects, so probably maths as well, just because there's like a formula and there's always an answer. Whereas like English, it's always like topic of discussions. At least maths, there's an answer that you have to get to, so that's the way you get to it. Whereas English would be probably a bit too tough for me.
Don't you like talking though?
Oh, I don't mind talking, but I reckon the kids would be smarter than me, so they might get one up on me in the classroom. I don't like that.
I don't know about that. I think you're pretty smart. Yeah, no, sounds interesting. PE and maths. So yeah. So I'm like going back to my thoughts there of those that are good at PE aren't usually the best at maths. So that's a really good combination.
Oh,
Full
we'll
package,
see how we
that'd
go.
be good.
See how we go. It's all good saying it. I have to actually do it now.
So Harry as captain and Xavier, as an experienced member of the club, how important is the example you guys set for the culture of the team?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I guess it's a flow-on effect, like sort of monkey see, monkey do as well. And that's probably through the whole organisation, not just 30-man squad or the 36-man squad, train and trial boys. Like it's probably, it's much bigger than that. It's, everyone who's within the 4 walls under the Storm umbrella, it's probably everyone's striving hard to set a good example, be a good person, and yeah, it just has a flow-on effect. I think ultimately, like, we're pretty lucky with some of the past players that we've had at the club that when I started, they were really good mentors and guys to look up to as how to approach everyday life, how to approach your footy, how to approach your work. And you think of guys like Cameron Smith, Billy Slater, Dale Finucane, Jesse Bromwich, Christian Welch, like such influential guys at what they do, but also as people, and yeah, just sort of making you feel welcome. But for me, I kind of see 3 things within the Melbourne Storm. It's be a good person, work hard, and always look to get better. And that's what I try to be as a person, as a leader. And I think that's probably 3 easy ways to sum up the Storm. And I feel like if you go by those things in whatever you do, like, you're going to be in a pretty good position.
It's a great culture. That's a good culture.
And I think Harry hit the nail on the head.
What do you got left there?
He stole my answer. No.
Not good at English, just maths.
Exactly. Topic of discussion. I'm struggling. I feel like everyone holds each other accountable of the standards, and it's like what sort of Harry said, like when you see someone of a really high standard and performing really well, whether that's on the field or off the field, being a really good person and setting an example, whether they're helping someone out or even in the facilities helping someone out, it brings you up to that standard as well. So, it's a really great culture that the Melbourne Storm has, and everyone holds each other accountable, and no one's afraid to sort of go up to someone and tell them to sort of be better if they need to, but also be there for someone if they need someone around. So it's a really great culture that the Melbourne Storm sort of built, and yeah, everyone holds each other accountable.
Yeah, I love it. We have a program that runs out of Narre Warren called Man Cave. I love that getting around each other, showing vulnerability and, being there for each other when something's not going well, or encouragement. It's all good. So, yeah, it can be at every level. But, yeah, it's really important to see that even at professional, you rely on each other so much.
Yeah, we do, for sure. And I think the one thing with like Storm and Melbourne Storm is there's a lot of guys that are interstate, so you don't have a family support network down here, or too many like friends that you have known for a long time outside of the football club. So it's very much a family, and like you said, when there's good times, you enjoy the good times together, and when someone's struggling or going through a hard time, like we're all in that together as well. And yeah, I definitely think that's probably in a way worked in the favour of the club, where everyone leans on each other, good times or bad times.
Yeah, I agree with Harry. I feel like myself, I'm a pretty vulnerable person. I'm not afraid to sort of speak up about how I'm feeling, but there's also people out there that sort of struggle with speaking up about that. But I feel like we've created a really good environment within the Melbourne Storm where people feel the need when they're struggling to speak up and speak out about it. And that doesn't have to be in a big group sort of situation. You could go up to someone that you feel comfortable speaking to and just speak to them one-on-one, and a lot of the boys can sort of tell when someone's a bit off, and they'll go up and speak to them as well. And like I said, it's not in a big group environment where you have to do it, but just, caring for your mate and knowing that not every day you're going to be feeling 100%, but if you have your mate there who's sort of supporting you and helping you through it, then it's going to make the day a lot easier. So I feel like that's something that we do really good at the Melbourne Storm, and I'm really proud about that.
Yeah, unique challenges having players from interstate, not having that core family or support structure around them and being able to lean on them, and, you know, you guys taking the burden at times for them and with them, it helps. That's fantastic. I love this culture.
Yeah, for sure. We love it.
Do you have any advice for any young people looking to turn sport into a profession?
I think I sort of touched on it at the beginning. I think just bring it back to the basics, and like you started playing sport for the fun of it. So if you get so focused in trying to make it big time, and, you know, you can still work hard with it, but I feel like sometimes you can dig yourself a bit of a hole and put so much pressure on yourself at a young age, when really the main thing you played sport for was for the fun of it. So that's sort of what I found growing up. I put a bit too much pressure on myself, and then found myself actually not playing very good, and brought it back to the basics and made sure I was having fun and playing with my mates, and you know, just enjoying each other's company. And I felt like that's when I started playing pretty good, and then it ended up turning into a profession for myself. So I think just don't put too much pressure on yourself. There's everyone sort of develops different times in their life. Everyone's not the same. So yeah, if someone else is making it in the rep teams or something like that, your time might be down the line. Everyone's at a different stage in their life, and just make sure you have fun, work hard, and I feel like things will happen down the track if you do those things.
Yeah, I think you got to remember why and who you're doing it for. I guess for me, it was like I was a 4-year-old kid. I knew I had a dream to play NRL as that age. Like I was that young where I wanted to be here. And then since I've got here, it's kind of like why I want to keep getting better or keep doing what I'm doing. It's like, one, to prove to yourself, but also like make your family and for me, my community proud. Like it's only a pretty small community. Like want to make them proud, give people an understanding or something to strive for, knowing that they can do it, they can achieve, you know, get into a bigger arena kind of thing. And then I guess the other one is like you got to be committed. You got to be committed. You got to work hard at it. Like Xavier said, you always do it for fun, but to me, hard work's fun. Like you work hard, like that's rewarding. Like you know, you can find joy in that as well. And yeah, I think like the commitment thing is you got to make sacrifices. Like there's going to be hard times along the way. Like I had to move away from my family, from my hometown at 17. Like, you know, like that's hard, but that's a commitment, a sacrifice that I was willing to make to go on. And then you go through injuries, like that's hard too. But you got to be, you know, like I said, willing to get yourself out the other side and knowing that there's good days ahead. So yeah, that's probably, I guess, mine is remember who and why, and then, you know, work hard and make sacrifices along the way.
Great advice. And yeah, that's taken a lot of risk there, but it's paid off, obviously.
Yeah, it has. I guess you can have some things outside as well going on. Like I said, I was doing my electrical apprenticeship, which that really helped me. I think I moved away from home, and then I was working with a bunch of grown men who understood life and instilled a lot of life skills into me, and also just made me appreciate the opportunity that I had to be able to do it at the age that I was. Yeah, I think so. That was good as well. Like they were, you know, pretty influential at the time. And yeah, I don't know. That's probably it. Like just go after it. Like if that's what you want to do, go and do it.
Yeah, great advice for young people out there for sure. So I actually want to give a bit of a shout out to especially Hampton Park and Cranbourne young people that are really excited about, you know, having you guys on our podcast. So one of the questions that they wanted us to ask on their behalf was, how did you end up playing for the Melbourne Storm?
We stole him from the Broncos.
Yeah, I was playing at the Broncos, and I played 3 seasons there, and then it was a bit of a tough period there at the Broncos, and I wasn't playing very good footy, to be honest, and my footy wasn't too consistent, and that's something I really wanted to develop, was a bit of consistency, and I felt like I needed a bit of a change and to get out of my comfort zone. And I grew up on the Gold Coast, so Brisbane was only an hour away. So I was only living an hour away from family. So whenever I had the opportunity, I was always with my family. But I felt like I needed a bit of a change and to challenge myself a bit. And Melbourne come with an offer to come down here. And obviously everyone knows how great of a club Melbourne Storm is and the culture around it. And I thought it was a great opportunity to learn off some of the great players that play for the club, but also a coach who's probably one of, if not the best coach in the NRL, and that was Craig Bellamy. So I thought that opportunity was too tough to sort of let off, and I ended up signing the contract and come down to Melbourne and haven't looked back since. So I've loved my time down here in Melbourne, and hopefully this year we can get a premiership. That would be pretty nice.
Sign the contract.
Sign the contract.
Yeah, as a Melbourne Storm fan, fairly new Melbourne Storm fan, very grateful to have you in the team. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, for me, so I'm from Yeppoon, which is central Queensland, so it's a little town. Actually, Cameron Munster, he's probably half an hour away. Like, I grew up, I knew him, Jack Howarth. It's a pretty good sort of breeding ground for rugby league, but like I said, you got to move away and take your opportunities. But yeah, so I had my couple years of injuries, so I was always a 5'8" growing up, and then as I come out of those injuries, I started playing dummy half because the school team had some good halves and needed a dummy half, and I just wanted to play footy, so I said, yeah, put my hand up. And then from there, like, things actually started looking pretty good from there. Played a couple of years with my school team and some local sort of under 18s, like junior reps, as a 17-year-old, and that's when the Storm came knocking to join the under 20s. So I did 2 years of under 20s with the Melbourne Storm. At the time, the under 20s system was based up at Sunshine Coast, just because they were phasing out the NYC, the national-wide under 20s competition, and Melbourne Storm wanted to set up a little base on the sunny coast. So for me, that was actually a pretty easy transition. Yeppoon, it was probably 6 hours away, and it wasn't a big move. Sort of had some family friends there that I moved in with. So yeah, I moved from Yeppoon to sunny coast, 2 years there, and then from there had another injury like my first year. But my second year, I played some enough footy. Like I said, Eric Smith, coach there, he still instilled a lot of confidence in me, and then from there I signed with the Storm top squad. So then I moved to Melbourne at the end of 2017, and been with the Storm since. Fair bit of reserve grade, and went to another club for a year even, just for an opportunity, and come back. So yeah, it's kind of been a journey where Melbourne Storm were always sort of in the picture. Like, I didn't really go to another team or start my juniors in another team. It was kind of always the Storm.
Yeah, it's interesting. So two different pathways to the Storm, but we're glad you're both here. Do we want to have any? Have you got any other questions you want to?
No, I just hope New South Wales win again.
Don't be saying that. Don't be saying that. No.
There's got to be a fight.
Hey, I'm on your side. So I've seen some highlights, and I know your sidestep is phenomenal, and that's Harry's.
He doesn't sidestep, he runs straight.
Well, I would call it a sidestep from what I'm looking at.
I'm trying to run away from him, that's why.
I don't know. It doesn't look like to me. But Xavier, I've seen a few of your highlights, and some of those tries where you're running down the side is phenomenal. So we may not even use this stuff. This is just a bit of, I don't know, fanboy coming out a little bit. So, yeah.
But I can say it is annoying as a New South Wales man, like watching news, Like, I remember when you came on second half, don't put it on, he's good. He's good. Don't put him on, he always comes on and runs a muck, man. Like, leave him off, man. So, as New South Wales.
Over the sideline and stuff.
Yeah, so it is annoying as a New South Wales man watching you play.
Nah, it's a pretty cool environment to be in State of Origin. So
yeah,
very
biggest
lucky.
NRL game, mate. Like, it's crazy atmosphere.
Yeah, the atmosphere is crazy. Like, what it means to so many people as players, but as Queenslanders, it's pretty special, and very lucky we've had the opportunity to play some games and play some games together. And
who's the hardest player to tackle
in the NRL?
Who's the hardest player you've come up against?
In training, it's nasty. Nelson.
Yeah, Big Nelson.
Big Nelson.
Yeah.
He's probably the hardest.
He'd have to be the hardest.
He's massive, bro.
In training, when you see him in front of you, you're tearing up. Big bumpers to the head.
He's just come up with that run it straight thing, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be brutal.
I know. Like, I played against Munster because I went to the West Tigers for a year, and I actually played against the Storm.
Yeah.
And that was a weird experience, but I actually played against like Nelson and Munster and stuff, and that was the reason why I come back. I don't want to tackle those guys, but Munster's kind of he sort of steps away from you, similar to Jerome Luai. Like, he's pretty hard to handle in that regard too, because like, they're so evasive that you think you have them, and then all of a sudden they're going back the other way. It's kind of like most guys step and go forwards, where they're stepping and they're going backwards. Like,
I reckon you can deal with like the big fellas; they just run straight at you. It's the small nippy ones.
The evasive, like
evasive ones that it's annoying.
Hard
to tackle.
So like me and Xavier.
Me. Big lanky legs.
So this is coming from someone that doesn't have a great deal of knowledge in terms of the game itself. But when you are tackling someone, are you looking to lower your body, center of gravity, those sort of things? Is there a technique that you guys have to go to? Or is it just grab and hold and hope?
I make like one tackle a game,
Yeah, I
so I'm
reckon
probably
ask
not
the
very good to answer this question. We'll give it to Harry.
Yeah, he's in the middle of the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you got different types, different techniques. So it's, if you're ever in doubt, you just go low, get legs together, pin them together, and you'll make your tackle. But then there's also an element now of winning the ruck and slowing it all down. So you kind of got to be up top on the ball and get some help. So there's probably a few different techniques or different types of tackles. But as the years go on, you kind of get a good feel of when to use what tackle. But yeah, I'm already pretty low to the ground, so I don't have to bend the back too much. But some of the big boys, like they do, or they're a bit more like front on and a bit more chesty with it.
Yeah, meeting you, Harry, and looking you eye to eye was great. When I'm meeting Xavier and looking up and I'm like, another head taller. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Harry.
Yeah. Need a step ladder to get on his level.
He's pretty tall.
Got a bit of a leap too, eh?
Yeah.
This bloke, far out.
Taught him that in the backyard.
Backyard. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, so this is going to be a bit ad-libbed. Hopefully you guys don't mind. We've grabbed a few different cards of you guys. So we were hoping that, we can sort of get those signed and give them out to some of the kids in the centres. So I'm going to have to do a bit of a spiel on, if you're still listening at this stage, come into the centre.
Oh, yeah.
So like a bit of a,
Yep.
So guys, if you're still listening at this stage, we actually have some cards here signed by Xavier and Harry. So come into the centre, and we've still got some left. We'll hand one out to you. Thank you guys so much for coming out and giving us your time. It's been awesome. We just hope that the young people listening can grab some real good information from your experience. Yeah, we can't thank you enough for giving up your time.
Yeah,
for having
thank you.
us.
And
Awesome. As always, all appropriate links will be attached to the show notes. To stay up to date with the exciting things happening in KCU services, please feel free to follow, like and share us on social media accounts at KCU Services.
Feel free to drop into the KC Youth Information Centres. We are open 1:30 p.m. to 5:15 p.m. Monday to Friday with extended hours exclusive to Hampton Park. Please check out our website for more details.
So yeah, Xavier and Harry, thank you so much again. Our pleasure, definitely our pleasure to have you guys here. And a big shout out to Wright and the team at Casey Fields for allowing us to be out here, and for them organising this. It's fantastic. So until next time, take care and stay safe.
thanks, guys. We'll see you all at a Storm game soon.
Yeah.